Welcome to the TIP Annual Conference 2025, themed The King's Mandate, Influence, Impact, Inheritance. Intentional parents from across the globe, are you ready? From rocking chairs in Lagos to night shifts in the UK, from prayer closets in Nairobi to kitchens in Toronto. Welcome to the largest online parenting conference on the planet. 8 years ago, we lit up with just a stack and 5 people in the room. Today, we are blazing with millions streaming live from across the nations. This is no ordinary event. This is heaven's assignment, a divine call, a holy convocation. Over the years, we have had testimonies of marriages being restored, prodigals returning home, and children finding purpose because one parent caught a revelation right here. Remember Queen Esther, obscure, ordinary, but positioned by heaven for such a time as this. Just like her, you have been positioned to speak life into a culture of confusion, to model wholeness in a fractured world, to pass down living legacy of faith, of courage, and of bold love. This is the King's mandate to shape culture, to leave impact that outlives you, and to secure heaven's mandate. In 7 power-packed days with 40 world-class speakers, hearts will be ignited, homes transformed, and nations impacted. This is your moment to lean in and receive divine wisdom. Engage by commenting, by asking questions, and of course, by praying as you process. Transmit it, pass the torch to children, to your mentees, and to your cycle of influence. Because when the live stream ends is when the real conference begins, at dinner tables, at bedtime devotions, on school runs, and in daily choices. This is where legacies are built. Intentional parents, are you ready to embrace the King's mandate? If you are right where you are, lift your voice right there and say, I was born for such a time as this. Let heavens record it. Let the nations hear it. And let the 8th year of the TIP Annual Conference officially begin. So, fasten your seatbelt, because together we are about to set the world on fire. My name is Joy Eshimokai. I am the lead coach at ProSpeak Life Academy, and I am the official MC of the Intentional Parents Academy. Welcome to the TIP Annual Conference 2025. Let's execute the King's mandate.
Hello world, my name is Christiana Ali Ofere, aka the Microphone Empress. I am a returning level 1 inner circle parent since 2021 and already sitting and chilling in 2026 cohort 1A, a feat that I achieved since February of 2025. I encountered TIP in the year 2019, but I hovered around TIP until 2021. And what brought me in was seeing that my prospects had her testimony shared on a platform like this. I made my payments and I dived into the arc. Now I came into TIP hoping to learn to parent my children, but hey, I got self-development. I got to learn how to parent myself first. I learned in TIP that parenting is first about me, and truly I became the first beneficiary of the systems and tools I am able to implement. TIP is the life hack for me. TIP is the expected miracle if you can implement the teachings that you encounter in TIP. I run by the TIP Almighty formula, which I call SC, SK, SY, ST square. SC is schedules, SK is skills, SY is systems, ST1 is structures, ST2 is strategies. These are the tools that replace the need for you to push, hover over your children or flog your children. So if you truly must parent in peace and calm, it means you are willing to hold yourself to a higher standard of discipline. That is truly where your parenting in peace comes. I live in the military system, and by TIP, I truly have a chaos-free life. TIP has been likened to Noah's Ark. I want to now liken TIP to an armored tank. The armored tank stands right in front of the battle line. Those inside the armored tank never get affected. Why? It's a safety system. It's the place of safety, the place of growth, the place of transformation. Are you thinking whether you need TIP? Come closer. Yes, please. You need it. Scratch all the scriptures you know. Scratch all the titles you have. Scratch how we were raised. And just come into the ark and truly be transformed. This is the call to you to come on board. TIP, no, scratch that. The inner circle is my game changer. And I found a better way to parent my children. I learned how to parent without chaos. Yes, it is possible to raise children without flogging. But hey, as Africans, we think it's not possible here. But at TIP, I learned it is possible, especially because TIP teaches you to hold yourself to higher standards of discipline so you can truly implement. Because of the truth in TIP, I am seated in the coming year. You too can be like me. Get on board. TIP payment is 120,000 naira per individual and 200,000 naira for a couple. If you break that into daily payments, that's 328 naira per day. That cannot even buy you a bottle of Coke. Will it? Your transformation, your self-development is worth more than 328 naira. Come on board, and from the very first webinar, your money would have already been completely spent. I said that, and that's on period. Yeah.
Welcome to the Reader's Corner, where we believe in the power of a good book to transform lives. I'm Vera Patrick Asodo, and I am the founder of the Reader's Corner. At the Reader's Corner, we provide practical strategies, tools, and workshops to help parents become and raise confident, curious, and consistent readers, starting right from their home. With self-help books that inspire personal growth, to trusted literature that nurture your faith, TRC is the place for everyone. And yes, the Reader's Corner is also the place where you can source all your books for the TIP inner circle. And we deliver them to you dog-probing. Because we understand the importance of building a love for reading from an early age. We have a children's book collection that is designed to ignite curiosity and open doors to new worlds. And now we're excited to introduce our newest guide titled Raising Readers. This is a quick guide to ignite and sustain your child's love for books. This guide is designed to give parents the tools and inspiration to create a really friendly environment at home. Visit us today to grab your copy of Raising Readers and start building a lasting love for books in your child's life. Join the Reader's Corner family today, where every visit is a step towards igniting a lifelong love for books.
This conference was born out of a burden. It's not just talking parenting. It is to awaken purpose in homes, in families. Because when homes are aligned, nations are transformed. I welcome you to this prophetic journey. It's going to be 7 days of amazing journey. 40 voices, one king's mandate. And I pray that you don't just attend it. I pray that you encounter alignment, instruction, and divine direction for your family. Welcome to the Intentional Parent Academy Annual Conference 2025. This is not just another event. This is a move. My name is Wendy Ologe. And I'm called Africa's #1 parent coach. I'm the founder of Intentional Parent Academy. Beyond all of the titles, I am just a vessel sent on a divine assignment to help you as a parent break generational patterns and raise children who reflect the heart of God. Enjoy the ride and see you at the end.
Hello, amazing people. Welcome to day 6. It's been 25 sessions back and forth. My name is Olusola Juliana Akinlade Ogaji, and I'm privileged to be co-moderating this session with our amazing Yada father with us.
Yes, scratch that.
Good morning to you. How are you today?
Good morning. Good morning. I hope you had a wonderful night rest. All right,
yes.
people. I am Kingsley Ude, and I'm co-moderating with an amazing Yada mother here in the building. And we are happy to give you a wonderful ride. It's going to be amazing. This is the first section of today. I hope you had a wonderful ride. How has the journey been so far? Have you been following the conferences back to back? It has been amazing, amazing. And today is another packed section. All right, let's have you talk about our speaker, what we'll be having today, and then what she'll be talking about. She'll be coming on board to give us light on something. Let me have. All right, over to you.
Okay, I hope we are ready. And I want to say an amazing thank you to my #1 worldwide coach, Wendy Ologe, for giving me this wings to fly on. I don't take it for granted, ma'am. Thank you so very much for helping us to do this on this platform. Today, we have an amazing session. An amazing woman, the woman I call the intentional proprietress. Without further ado, I'd like the team to please roll out the bio. But before then, our amazing speaker, please, you already know that we love the fire emojis. Let's roll it out as the bio of the next speaker is being played for us. Please give us the fire emojis as we go on now. And don't forget, Bankole. Welcome so much, ma'am. We are pleased to have you here. Welcome, ma'am. Kingsley, say welcome to our ma'am.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so much excited to have you here this morning. And then we hope it's going to be, we are not hoping, we know it's going to be a wonderful ride for us. But for those out there, ensure that you have your pen and paper to write down everything you're going to learn from this section. All right, we're handing over the next 50 minutes to you, ma'am. Give us what you have. Thank
Please
you.
take us away, ma'am.
Everyone. I hope you can.
Hello, ma'am. You're muted. You're muted. Please keep the fire emojis coming as we wait for our speaker for today. Hello, ma'am. Can you hear us?
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes. Please take it away,
All
ma'am.
right, thank you. So I was, just sending my pleasantries and greetings to everyone. Good morning, good morning. I said it's a beautiful time to be alive, and I want to appreciate the privilege. I don't take it for granted that, I have this opportunity to, share experiences and then to also learn. I've been attending the conferences, not all, but at least on daily basis, I get to attend, quite a number of it. And I intend to even go back and check some more. So yeah, you're welcome. And I'm speaking today on the parent as an educator. And I know some of you will be wondering, why should you be calling a parent an educator? All right, you'll get to know. And of course, it's always a pleasure to talk education. That's life for me. That is, I don't even need to think too deep or to begin to look at materials or all that before I talk about education, because it is something I enjoy doing. It's a life, for me and all that. All right, so we'll just go on. I don't know whether my slides are available to be presented by the team. Okay, so we're looking at the parent as an educator, and we're considering, the parents as an educator collaborating with the schools to help the child become. And of course, our, core theme this year, we're looking at the King's mandate in terms of influence, impact, and then inheritance. And I'd like us to understand that an educator is someone who passes instruction for the benefit of the instructed. In another way, we say an educator is also a teacher who teaches. And then for there to be a teacher, it means that there must be a learner, and that the learner is gaining skill, ideas, attitudes, information from the person who is teaching. Now, as a parent, you are an educator, you are a teacher, because that is actually what God planned from the beginning. And you see, I'm going to be, and I want to thank God that, over the course of this is the 6th day in the conference, speakers have been looking at bringing to bear important information that is tested and true. It is not just those one professor said something somewhere. No, it is from especially the word of God, which is tested and true, cannot be broken. And so I'm also going to be looking at, a few scriptures, because, that's one constant that will help us to navigate through this plan to be intentional, effective, impactful, parents who leave an inheritance that is, that is great for their children. Now, as an educator, as a parent, there is an injunction, or there is a call of God. When two people are coming together as a couple, there are instructions, there are expectations. Okay, you support each other to grow, and then one of the core mandates is to bring a godly seed to the world. It's not just to keep, like so many people would think the essence of marriage is to have children. Yeah, it's not just any kind of children. God was specific in asking for godly seed. That is those ones that can keep, the vision going, the vision you received as a person, as, a couple, husband and wife, to keep it going. That is one of the mandates that God gave to, parents. And so for you to get it done, there are also instructions that the Word of God has given on what to do, how to go about what you are to do, and, and all of that. And so I'm going to be looking at that from the next slide, please. I said here that you are your child's first and most enduring educator. That's why you need to understand what education is. You need to understand what the school is even doing. You need to collaborate and work together with school for that child to be the godly seed that God planned for him or her to be. That child is, you are the first teacher, especially mothers. Of course, when a baby comes to bear, that's why even in the, you see that in the hospital, when a mother gives birth, usually they will bring the baby to suck, even if nothing is coming out immediately. It is for bonding to happen. And it is for understanding that, that child, should get to know that there is someone who is willing to care, who is willing to nurture the child. And so as parents and fathers should also be there. It's not a woman's job. It's not a mother's job alone. Fathers should also know that that is part of their responsibility. That is also their responsibility as well. You are your child's first and most enduring. When teachers are not there, you are the teacher. When the lecturers in the universities are not there for your child, you are the teacher. You are the one to lecture them. You are the one to teach them. In fact, how the schools start? Many generations away, there weren't formal schools. Home was the school. Even though, even till now, somehow we still call it informal. But good enough, we have begun to have a lot of home schools now. Some parents homeschooling their children, which is not out of place. In fact, that is your responsibility. You're supposed to, when parents come to Bankys, I tell them during orientation that, see, we are here to support you to get your job done. I know some parents get worried. What are you saying? I am paying you to get the job done. You are telling me it's my job. Yes, it is your job, because God is going to ask you what sort of training your child got, what sort of education, what sort of schooling your child, passed through. And then you should also know that long before school and then way after school is over, they start from, some of us, we even take our children to daycare, from there to nursery school, then primary school, then high school. And when they are done, they go to university. When they are done with all the schooling, especially up to secondary school, of course, when they get to university, most likely they are adults already. And then, many of them begin to navigate their ways around. The important thing you need to know is that you still remain their teacher even after that. Your influence shape who they are, who they will become. And then there is a scripture, Proverbs 22:6, it's a popular one, which says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is grown, he will not depart. Not too long ago, the understanding of this scripture became more real to me. And it is that we are to train up, which means that the training begins from the first day, from, when you have contact with that child, with that baby. And actually, even if you have not been doing it well, today, this very moment is the very best time to start. So don't feel left out, or don't feel, oh, I have failed and all that. And that's why the Intentional Parent Academy, and particularly like the previous person who was advertising, who was sharing our experience in the inner circle, talked about, being in the inner circle gives you the tools and the opportunities to get that done. I've been a part of TIP from inception. I have actually also paid my dues for next year. You wonder, interestingly, my last child is in the university now. You wonder that So what does she need intentional parent for? Don't worry, as we go, you get to understand. Every parent, in fact, grandparents, as long as there is still a child, we said that even as a parent, you keep parenting your child till after they have left school. You are there all through. And so you should not relinquish that role. So, say I've paid fees, and so there's no business of mine in whatever they learn. Please, it is your business. Now, the next slide, please. I titled this next slide, The Three Eyes and Collabo. The three eyes. In the theme, we looked at influence, impact, and inheritance. And I actually went to dictionary, and then, by the understanding I have, I was able to put these meanings to those three keywords for this king's mandate for influence. Your daily power. That is what influence is. It is your daily power. It's John Maxwell that said, leadership is influence. So in other words, it is leadership too. Yeah, therefore, leadership of your children, the influence you wield on your children is your daily power as a role model, to guide them, to direct them, to instruct them, to, listen to them and work with them to get them to the best place they should be. For impact, that is the tangible, measurable difference that your involvement makes in their lives. I would like us to take note of all these meanings. Your impact on your child, through however you go about it, is that tangible, measurable difference that your involvement in their life is making. And we need, therefore, to not do it anyhow, but to be intentional about it. Then the last keyword there is inheritance. What is inheritance in this context? Is the lifelong values, skills, and mindset that you pass on to your children. And you see, whether we like it or not, we keep doing that over and again. We all know by now, Coach Wendy Ologe has repeatedly talked about it. And, some of the awesome coaches that are also in the TIP have also talked about the importance. The fact that it is not, coming into TIP is not for you to just, I want to know how to, if I don't want to be shouting, how to not be shouting. And so that, these children, they will learn and they will grow to be wood. First of all, let's start with you. This leadership should be me leading myself well, so that, those ones that I'm hoping to influence and impact can, key in and get it. Then the collaboration, this is how we partner with the school to amplify these three I's. How do we partner with the school to amplify? That's what the collaboration is all about. The next slide, I have a picture of two rings that are intersecting. One ring is for the school, for the home, mostly, of course, that's where the beginning of the child's life starts, and then the school on the other hand, and then at the center, if this collaboration is well keyed, it's deliberate that there is the, those joining at the top with those color red. That's like TIP's, main color, to connect together in a very good way. It's possible for some people to connect or some situations to connect, but not in a way that is so wonderful or intentional. So when we do that well, what we get is a whole child or a total child. That is an all-encompassing child, a child who have all the Qs, the IQ, that's intelligence quotient, the SQ, the social quotient, the GQ, the God quotient, and I need us the EQ too, the emotional quotient. And I emphasize the GQ because a lot of the times we always relegate it to the background. But with the world we are in today, with the times we are in today, the GQ cannot be underplayed. We need to ensure that we give our children the best of opportunities to encounter God themselves, so that as we are leading them, they will see it in our lives and then they can actually flow and follow on. Now, In the next slide, I indicated that parenting is intentional, which is part of what academy is about. Intentional daily discipleship. Intentional daily discipleship. How do you disciple your child? And when you look at the word disciple or discipleship, the key word from there is disciple. And a disciple is a learner from a teacher. So making your child become a disciple means that you are well-rounded, well-organized yourself, and then you have that child that is learning from you. You have that child that is following suit with what you are trying to bring to bear. And therefore, it is very critical that we don't joke with this responsibility of discipling. Discipline comes from there. Disciple comes from that same word. And then you see that, a disciple is a follower of a leader or a teacher. Don't forget, we are talking about parents being an educator or a teacher. And you have established that you are a teacher for life in the life of your children. As I am now. In fact, right, just before, a few minutes ago, my mom was trying to call me. My mom is almost 80 years. And mommy is still calling her daughter. So it's a lifelong thing. You keep being a parent, of your children, even when they are married, even when they become parents, even when they become grandparents. So it is therefore important that you get to know how to do it, especially when it now comes to their education, their learning. How do you, get this done, effectively? I have a scripture, which is like, a scripture that I will want every one of us at the end of this program to go and look at, read it in different versions and understand a key mandate, a key role that you are supposed to play so that as an educator of your child, you can do the job well. Now, Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 6 to 7. It says, I will quickly read from here. It says, and these words which I command you, that's God speaking to us as his creation, as parents now. I command you today shall be in your heart. So do you have the word of God? Do you even understand what to do? In case you don't really know what to do as a parent, join us in the inner circle, in the yard, where we have the VC, our coach, Wendy Ologe, and you get to learn a lot more. It should be in your heart. It shouldn't just be that you write it. So you'll be dictating to children, hello, yes, that is what you are supposed to be doing. No. It is not a matter of do as I say, not as I do. It is do as I do. That's why it is important that as a parent, you start with yourself first. You understand that, okay, so this is who I am as a teacher or an educator of my children, and this is what I'm supposed to be, portraying for them to learn and learn effectively. Now, it goes on to say, you shall teach them diligently to your children and shall talk of them, these rules, these guidelines, these commands. You will talk of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. I came up with that as the 4 rhythms of life. In my next slide, I indicated it as the 4 rhythms of life's moments. Yeah. If you look at those 4 activities, those are the activities we do all through the day. Every day. You are either sitting, I don't know what you are doing right now where you are, from anywhere you are in the world. You may be walking, you may be on the road. You may be lying down. You may just got up or just rose from bed or from maybe sleeping or something. These encompass all life moments. The different moments we have in life are, you can pick it from either of these 4. And so if the Almighty God who created all of us, you and the children, myself and the children, says we should keep instructions that he is giving us. And those instructions are varied. They are plenty on different things, how to eat, how to drink, how to prepare food, As simple as that. How to talk, how to walk, how to dress, how to think, how to do everything. The word of God has it clearly stated. And then if we are to follow, we are meant not just to be writing it or be dictating it and be giving instruction about it, but to have it in our heart. When it is in our heart, we are going to be able to graciously release it to the children. And that way we'll be able to get the best out of them. So all the daily routines, if you are in the yard, there is a daily information we get to activities to do. There is also the voice note from the coach, Coach Wendy, every day on guidance on, this. It is not to say, does it mean that I don't even, excuse me, I don't know how to parent? No, that's not it. We have established that in fact, for those of us in the school system, I run a school, and by the grace of God, Bankys is going to be 20 years in September. So I'm inviting all of you. Now, for these 20 years of running a school, I've been a teacher for over 30 years, by the way, as in teaching, being a class teacher and all of that. And I'm still a teacher. I still taught some children some things in the last 3 days, Wednesday to Friday, as in I was a teacher in the class, teaching them some things. Now, over these years, about 30 years, there are so many things that I have noticed, and that's why I will always be in the yard, because I also want to be able to understand parents. There are new thinking some people have. Okay, so let's look at it, just oppose it with what is actually functional, what is working for those it's working for. How did you raise your child? How am I raising mine? Then let's look at it. Okay, so what is the best way to go? So that for those of us in the education system, we can actually parent, because we are also parents somehow. We are parents at hand while you are not there. When you have gone to work and you have dropped them in school, we also take the role of parents. So we are saying in this conference, we are saying that, generally you are also a parent. So, you're also a teacher. So understand what we do as professional teachers while I am learning what you do as parents, let me say professional parents now. Now, it is important for us I've met a lot of parents, and many times I see parents who really do not know what to do. In fact, I can tell you, I've encountered, if you ask school leaders, school owners, teachers, this question, you will get like 80%, the minimum you will get is 80% of the parents that are in my school of children I'm teaching are having problems even parenting their children. And that's why I can't stop encouraging parents in my school to be part of TIP. I keep, directing them. Some of them, when their children are having challenges, maybe the girl child, we know who to also, direct them to take the children to, Coach Tima is there. And then for the boys, we have the king of boys and the queen of boys. They are helping us out to get, because you see, the parenting is not thoroughly done and the parents do not know their role as educators, first of all, from home, we begin to have a lot of clashes in school. The maths, the English, the physics, chemistry, biology, the science, the arts, and all the subjects we want to teach, we don't get to be able to do it well because, there is no understanding. So that's why I'm so excited about this topic, telling us that, as parents, we are also educators, and as teachers, that when we talk about it, we even know when you go to study education, you are taught that you are a parent in locus. That is, you are parent at hand, in the school when the children are with you. But it is important that as parents, yes, in loco parentis, yes, that's what's the language now? Excuse me for it. So it is important that that as a parent, you are an educator, and for you to be able to get this job done well. And you see those 4 key things. When you are sitting, you should keep passing the message, teaching the children, educating them, training them, giving them the values, the skills that they need for life. As you are walking, maybe you are taking a walk with your child, you should keep teaching. Even when you are lying down, you still keep giving instruction. You may be lying down and be praying for them. As you are rising from bed, you are giving instruction, you are teaching, you are guiding, and it is important you know what to do to get the job done. The next slide, please. So now I want to talk about partnering with schools. As a parent, educator, how do you partner with school? Let's start with, okay, I just put something there. I said partnering with schools equal to influence, meeting, impact for great inheritance. We're looking forward to our children, being wonderful, your child, being the best in class, your child excelling and all that. Though I'm always careful about, that idea of wanting your child to be the best in the class all the time. Because there are occasions where your child may not be the best, but will be living his best, will be presenting his best. You need to even understand when you're also in TIP, you get all those information. There are so many seminars and trainings that go on online, on the YouTube, where you get to learn several things. Those are some of the things we do in school. So when you partner with schools, and you are not, there is this problem in the school system between parents and school. And it is, I'm doing my job better than you. And so, some parents will come when school call for parents. Oh, your child did something wrong. And so, some parents are looking for, hey, you too, you did not do your job well in these areas. Excuse me, please, let's stop that. Let's stop that. We should actually, be looking for how to work together to get these children to be the best version of who they should be part-time, and that they should keep seeking to be better and better and better on daily basis. So it's not a war. We are not in a war front. If you recall the two rings, yes, you are an authority at home. The school is an authority when it comes to teaching and education and all that, the maths and the English and all that. But at the same time, we should collaborate and work together so that the core personnel that we are working to see gets better, we actually do a good job, and we are not quarrel. We do not need for any reason to start I'm doing a better job, the school is the one doing a better job, the home is not even doing anything. Oh, the school, don't mind them, they don't know anything. No, we should work together. And then these are the simple ways we can go about it to break it down. I just have some, key points that I've noted down. Number one, you should start with identifying with schools that share your family vision and values. In case you are not a part of the inner circle, that is where we start. You start with identifying what is it that should even be your family vision. You create your family vision, and then you create your family values. In fact, mine, we did it such that we printed it on mug at home, so it could keep reminding everyone and all that. So when you have those value system put together, you and your child, or your children, you put it together and all that, you then look for a school that can help you to achieve it. So it's not going to, joining school just because, oh, that school, there are plenty children there, so that must be a very good school. Or that school, they don't have too many children. And that's what I like. Can you see two contrasts? And I've met a lot of parents. I've met parents who want to bring their children to school because, and their question is, in your school, do you take children for foreign trips? And sometimes I'm like, excuse me, is that a reason to come look for a school? But different parents have different reasons why they are looking for school. But I'm suggesting for you to be able to make this partnership work so that what you are doing at home, the school will not be scattering it for you. And what the school is trying to do, you will not, see the school. You will also not be creating issues for the school to get the whole child, the total child, the well-rounded child, the holistic child, who is a pride to the school, to your home, and to the nation, and nations of the world as well. Because you see, this king's mandate is to raise, children, to have great influence on them, make indelible impact, eternal impact on their lives, and then see them inherit not just your houses and your cars, but to inherit through true legacy. And for you to do that, identify the school that share your vision you are in the yard, you will understand how to form this vision correctly, and then, values effectively, and then you get that. So when you have done that, get involved. Participate in the PTF or PTA, whichever name it's called in the school your children are attending. I know of some parents that don't attend that at all. They feel it's not my business. I've paid school fees and the school should do everything. And because of that mindset, we are seeing a lot of children whose parents don't show up for nothing. They don't, bother about the state of, the child. Because as you come in daily, regularly, you get to see things. I want to share a quick experience. When we were still in in Gadua, in the rented apartment, we had a spot where we keep, like a small bed for the young children in one of the blocks, the nursery block. And one day a parent walked in. It is not too far from where the staircase is. A parent walked in and just said, "Mrs. Bankole, why don't you change the location of this, whatever?" It does not, I do not think, he just said it pleasantly. And do you know that my eyes opened? It was like I've not been thinking. Because what he said is true. That location is not very good for where that mattress is. And so I so you're coming. I'm an expert. I read education. I understand educational psychology, guidance and counseling. And by God's grace, I believe I've been doing a good job of that. But the truth is, as a parent, that parent came in and saw something and then, passed it on. And sincerely, it gave me an insight. That is what will happen when you are involved in your children's school, when you are committed. Attend PTF meetings. So many schools don't run PTA again because parents don't even show up. And of course, in our own school, we don't make our PTA meeting where parents will come and complain. No. In fact, we invite people to talk, maybe part of the parents to come talk to us about, some things that could help out. I remember one time we had one person come to talk about how to ensure online safety for your children, what to use and all that, and different things that we do. It's not a place to come and complain. If there are issues, don't wait. There are lines of communication. Understand that too. As a school as well, we also have an orientation meeting with parents. Immediately we have, sorted, the child is going to join us, fees have been paid. And then we have, there's even a meeting before that. In the process of, assessment and getting to be sure, we invite parents and child, and the principal will talk with both the parents and the child or the children and get to know what they are thinking. And that helps us to know what it is that we should, what is to expect and what the school will be expecting from the parents. We're able to share, so this is how we are, this is what we think and all that. Another thing is to be a change maker. It's a joy when the Ologe shared with me that the school where the twins are attending currently, in fact, I also saw the pictures and the videos of, Pastor Ume going to sort of open, pray over the completed chapel for the school. They kickstarted it with their money. It's not an easy thing to build a chapel in a school. It's not their school, they are not shareholders. I'm sure they pay school fees in full. Nobody gives them rebates. They are parents like every other parent, yet they felt we need to also nurture the spiritual learning of our children. And, the children just having their chapel in the cafeteria is not good enough. In fact, the children I learned were even asking questions that, why don't, and there is a land for that. There is a location for that. And so as parents, the involvement got them to the point of bringing change, progress to the school. I have had a parent in my school who told me that the reason why he's so involved in the Bankys school is because he believes that many years to come, the CV of his children is going to have Bankys on it. And so he wants to make sure that nothing must go wrong because he wants his children to still be proud. Yes, I went to this school, I went to this school, and I am so good about the school. So he got involved, he got committed. So I'm encouraging that, for you to get this partnership to work, and for the influence to meet the impact we are all going to be bringing on the table, for this inheritance, for these great children that we are hoping to build, there must be involvement. Now, another thing is, volunteer. I have had parents who had volunteered. In fact, one of the parents in my school who volunteered is now a school owner. She just came, okay, she was a full-time housewife at the time. And she just felt, okay, Mrs. Bankole, if you don't mind, can I be coming around? And I said, why not? You're a parent. I know they do that a bit, in maybe UK, US, I've heard about that. And, I've heard about some parents doing that. I said, why not, if you can? And do you know what? As a school leader, those parents, at least I can recall two of them very clearly now, who volunteered, they really helped me. When they notice something that is off, they quietly just notify me about it. And then I quickly, walk around it. It may be with a teacher, it may be with, with a child, and then we walk around it. But what is in their minds, both of them, was, I want to be involved in getting this school to be better. I don't just want to, just have the child, pass through a school. And they did contribute greatly to that. And a word of caution, please, is to say that, the next slide though, is to say that while you are at that and you are giving the suggestion, please don't enforce your rule. That is why at the beginning, I have suggested that you should look for a school that aligns with your vision and your values as a family, so that, there won't be so much, it won't be that you want this for your children, the school wants that, and everything is completely off. Nothing is connecting or gelling. But you need to check your family values anyway and make sure that it aligns. That's why I'm also welcoming you to the TIP and the inner yard for, better understanding of how this works. Please don't go about saying, you cannot, you will not, this is it, because the school has their vision. There is mission they have, there are their core values, and they put it out to you. They are implementing it, except if the school is veering off what they say is their vision or their mission. You can call them back and say, but let's make it pleasant so that we can work together and, not, antagonize each other. And then at home, as the parents, as the educator parent, please provide a good learning environment at home. We have issues where children are given assignments to take home and, they cannot do it because there is no good learning environment. By the way, I am not for home lesson. There are children that need it, a very few children who are struggling, and immediately they are done. I tell my teachers, if you have to do a lesson or whatever for a child, don't become a forever teacher. There is forever living products. Don't become a forever teacher. There is a challenge. This child has issue with reading. But in one time, you should be able to knock that off. 3 months. Knock it off if you're a good teacher. And I tell my teachers too, you are as good as the weakest child in your class. I'm not going to measure you or assess you as a teacher by the high flyers. Hey, in this class of 20 children, there are 12 high flyers. That teacher is good. Or let's even say there are 18 high flyers. And then there are 2 children who are really struggling. Their teacher. And now, teacher parent, educator parent, we're going to assess you or measure your success as an educator based on how you support those who are struggling, how you support those who are, just trying to find their feet. And so it is important that we also understand that providing good learning environment, a table, a chair, good lighting for where the child is going to learn. I remember we also run an online school. And so we have some children in UK. There was a day a child I was not the teacher, but I was there. I joined the class that day. And then I saw that the boy was, in the class, but his face wasn't showing. He was in a very dark place. I had to reach out to the mom to say, ma'am, can you please help us ensure that this boy always have good lighting in front of him when he's in the class? And that was what helped us to solve. The parent did not know. They just gave him one corner where he'll be having his lesson, where he won't be disturbing the others in the house. But I said it's necessary for good lighting for the boy to be able to learn effectively, because it's important to, to see his face and see what he's doing. A teacher sees the mood of the child and then is able to, know, okay, whether this child is learning, is taking it in and all that. So quickly, I'm rounding off now. Now, as an educator parent, these are the things you need to do to understand for you to be able to make a good job of, being an educator. One, you need to understand basic things about education. I'm sure it will surprise some that many people do not know the purpose of education. Some think, it's for my child, to go to school and go and make good grades. No, I tell parents and I tell the children, you're not in this school to learn, to pass exams. No, you are here to learn life. Anyway, maybe because I'm a kinesthetic learner, I learn by doing, there is this rule here. This step by step here, and then I get that done. I follow the procedure and get things done. So if you ask me to write an exam where I'm supposed to cram and pour, I will fail. But if it is for me to express myself the way I understood what was, taught, thumbs up. Definitely, I'll get it right. And I tell people that's the best learning style. Don't mind me. I'm just being cheeky there. You need to understand what education is. Even the idea of learning styles, you need to understand it. Don't worry, you will learn that in the yard. Those are part of the trainings. Those are part of the sessions that are held for you to even understand what is the learning style of your children, of your child. Because if you don't, some teachers will just be getting angry with your child. And you two at home, you hit, you will punch. Hey, you are this, you are Olodo, you don't know it. You don't understand. What is it? Am I going to break your head? There is a way everybody learns. There are 3 basic learning styles. We have auditory learners, we have the visual learners, and we have the kinesthetic learners. Someone like me, we like doing and fixing and all that. That's why you see, I'm always, but you see, kinesthetic learners are very brilliant learners. Yeah, I can assure you of that. Because, we bring to bear what we know. So I was saying that it is important that we understand the purpose of education. It is not just the children go to pass exam and bring beautiful certificate. And can I shock you? It may not be a shock, but I know some of the parents do not know. A lot of parents may not know that we are having a lot of schools where cheating and malpractice is the order of the day now. Please keep an eye. I've heard of a school where even when they are going to write exams, the school will give the children the questions as homework. We call it home fun in our school because we don't want them to feel it's serious work. It's fun. They go with it to go and practice, and then they come back. What is that? Is that learning at all? No. You need to understand that when learning takes place in an activity, even when you are engaging your child at home, when has learning taking place? When does learning take place? And learning takes place when there is a change in behavior. That's a general language we use in education circle. But how do you know learning has taken place? That child has mastered what was taught and can express it creatively. I think that's the way I can put it. It is not that the child can answer tell you word for word what you said. No. Learning hasn't taken place. What has happened is you just cram. In learning, there is this Bloom's taxonomy of, that tells us, how to know when learning has taken place. There are 6. At the base is when there is knowledge. You thought there are 36 states in Nigeria, states and capitals. I'm sure some of us are seeing those things, and you would think that that child is very brilliant. No, the child may not have learned anything. I don't even believe in all those turning states and capitals to rhyme, because what does the child need? The child may need, there are key things to know. Let me just take that topic, for instance. The child needs to know, okay, I'm in Nigeria, I'm a Nigerian, there are 36 states in the country, but there are just about 3, 4, 5 states that are important to the child. And there is hardly any question in the exam, except the teacher is not a good one, or the examiner is not good enough, that we ask the child to name more than 5. So if the child knows the state he is living in, maybe the state of the parents, the state or the mom or the dad, if they are from different states, then maybe 2 others or so. That's just enough. It's even better that the children experience the state as they travel on the road. As you take them on journeys, or, maybe you travel to the village, during Christmas, during Easter, or all that. And they get to see, this state. And they can actually, engage to know that, not asking a child to also draw map of Nigeria. What is that? Except you are expecting that the child should be able to, engage. Maybe there are puzzles of the map that say that will help the child to know that Sokoto State is in the north, up there. FCT is in the center. The western states are, towards the left. The southeastern states are towards the right on the map, if you are looking at it drawn. And key information so when any question is asked, the child can answer. At the peak of learning is creativity. When your child is not creative in learning, he hasn't learned anything. So please keep an eye on that. In the same vein, when you as a parent educator is saying, I've taught my child, and the child cannot, has not gotten to that point where the child can, express it in his own way with clear understanding, that child hasn't learned. It's not for you to say, in this house, we drop cups in the sink. No, that one is what Yorubas call a cursory. That's like rote learning. And rote learning is not learning. Learning takes place when the child has mastered it and can express it well. Thank you. Now, another thing is, you should learn how to learn. Like I said, we learn different ways. Learn how learning takes place. Learn how your child learns. That way you'll be able to support your child to gain that inheritance of being an excellent personality. Then what it means that your child is successful. Success for a child is not, I scored 100% when it was all about cheating. Please, let's take note of that. The child should be able to, we should teach honesty. We should teach integrity, to our children. Those are part of core values key values that we can learn. We can pass on to the children. And there are so many things that are going wrong now. If we want to raise and build children who are truly effective in, showcasing that they have been greatly impacted positively, we will not we will not run our children the way so many people around now are running their children. The other day, I think during this week, Coach Wendy was asking about prom in school. That is the order of the day in many schools now. In fact, some of my senior I3 students who they have even graduated because they have written their last paper. They came, Mark, I said, no, it will never. I said, read my lips. It will never happen in this school. We somehow we keep shifting the goalposts, thinking that is making it okay, being nice to children, not being able to, to have, yes, we should be friends with our children as we teach them, as we train them. But that is not to say they dictate. What I'm seeing with a lot of parents also is that they are afraid of their children. They can't tell their children, hard things, important things for life. Now, finally, be a parent who share positive image about your child's school, about your child's teacher. Don't be that parent who at home, because you see, you may think that you are doing good. You want the child to be on your side. and all that. The children know who is helping. Even if the teacher is tough, the children know that that teacher may not mean harm. Does not, if particularly, I mean, a good teacher is not going to be harming children and slapping and eating and kicking and all that. So don't speak negative about your child. If you have any issue, meet with the teacher. If you don't want to meet the teacher, there are lines of authority in each school. Reach out to, those lines of authority. But if you can, I think it's best to actually start with the teacher and say, oh, this is what I noticed. Can you please, address it? And I'm sure that, with right way, they will get that done. Then cooperate with your child, school in following school guidelines. We have this, we give that, and sometimes parents want to boggle it. And then finally,
Wow.
TIP circle is a must for you to benefit and be effective in being that teacher, that parent educator. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, ma'am. We are grateful. What an amazing session. I think how was it for you? It was a family value for me, for real.
I was falling off my seat. Ma, do you have a if you're on this conference right now, do you have a value? Do you have a value to begin with? Thank you so much, ma. This was amazing. In fact, words cannot quantify what we got. This is 30 years of experience in 1 hour, guys. 30 years experience in 1 hour. You can't quantify it. All right, thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much,
Thank you so very much, ma'am. We'll go for a water break now, and then we'll take some questions when we come back, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, in the house, drop your fire. Let's get how you felt about
Hello,
the
parents. How are you all doing? All right, I am Ijoma Arinze. I want to share one of the things, or one of the blessings I've gotten from the TIP Academy. It's about one of my children, one of my sons, and one of the boys, 4 boys. So one of them, it happened that when he was 4 years plus, he wasn't able to read, write, or even talk properly. And when we took him for a particular, because we changed him from their school to a new school, and when they to the new school, we went there for an interview. They were even surprised, like how come he was, going. They kept, promoting him to other classes with all the struggles he had. So eventually, they told us we were going to stay back and with them, probably in the previous class. So we're like, okay, no problem. But then I took it upon myself. With the whole thing I've learned in the theater at that time, I was able to understand, how to sit back and understood where the issue was coming from, understood the foundational problem, and one of them basically was the screen time. I got to understand that the screen time, the media, everything actually affected my son, so I went into work. I ensured that there was no screen time. Like I had to put in a routine in the home about screen, and then I had to, withdraw him from the school, and then we start back based on what I've learned from TIP, his learning style and every other thing. And eventually, as God help him, with all the work put in place, he was able to scale through. And to tell you, after like 2-3 years, now today, as the last week or last 2 weeks we got his results, it happened that the same person who was struggling to read, write, and even speak came second in his class. He came second in his class. And they just kept saying, your son is a talkative, this boy talks. Your son is just everywhere. He wants to answer everything in the class. He's so active, he speaks, in fact, it's just a big one for us. I just couldn't hold it back because I know that most of the ideas, the learnings that I used for my son was the things I actually got from the TIP Academy. I don't know what you have been like. So I'm so happy to share this, to tell you the truth that if they walk here, we they walk, we they learn, if they show. God bless you.
Welcome back. What an amazing session. Wow. You see, when you're in the inner circle, learning styles, family values is not going to be a problem at any point in time. Welcome, ma'am. We are so glad
Yeah.
to have you back.
Thank you.
Let's
Thank
see
you.
if we have some questions. Okay, ma'am, we have one question. It's right on your screen, ma.
Okay, yeah, the name of the school. It's the same school, Bankys Private School. And so if you get to our website, you can get to register and we take it up from there.
Okay, do we have more questions? This is the best thing. These sessions are not enough because after the conference, then we are still parents. The work begins. Come into the inner circle. In the inner circle, you get to understand how to craft your family values. You get to understand how to craft your family values. Ma'am, before we let you go, do you have your last words for us, ma'am?
All right, a very quick one. The emphasis we're trying to lay is building a legacy, with the children, in the children, for the children. And as I was, planning for this presentation, I came across two families in the US. The family of the Bush family, and then the what's the name of the other family? Okay, Barker family. And I realized that these two families have, you could draw a family tree. In fact, I actually got AI to create pictures of these families for me. And on one side is the Bush, the main patriarch there up there, who was a senator in the US and attended, education, quality education impacted what brought them to the level they are. Whereas the Barker family, it's even the mother who was like the family head over there. She had a terrible legacy. She taught her sons to become robbers. She was leading them to do that. And that lineage, it depends on the values and the value for education that a family has. It will trickle down as it goes if nothing is done.
Thank you very much, ma. We have one last question for you, ma. It's right on the screen.
Okay, what can parents do about schools that have no PTF or allow contact
What?
with teachers? Anyway, as a school leader relating with a lot of schools, I do encourage. So many of them are afraid because of stories they have heard. For me, PTF in Bankys is the best thing after jollof rice because they are. In fact, we have our basketball court stands. They are not cheap. The two stands costed close to 4 million, courtesy of the parents. Those are the things they bring to bear. If the school is also if the parents notice that, encourage the school to know the benefits of interacting with the parents. When they know, I'm sure they will. And then the parents are not also willing to override the school with, we are now in charge and all that, because some schools have had very bad experiences. So your own child's school, talk to them. I'm sure, over time, they will reason with you. Okay, there's this question. How do we influence and collaborate with schools in the Western world with our core values? That's a tall order, but all the same, I think, there are so many things that are general. I'm sure it is possible. For instance, I know of parents during when the LGBTQ plus issues were up, there were parents that stood up to schools that attended, parents programs and told them, my own child, I want to be exempted from this and that and that. That way, little by little, and then at home, as you keep ensuring that you keep passing this message to your child, you keep training your child, teaching your child, with time, the child will also be able to pass it in school.
Thank you so very much, ma. We have one last one.
Thank you.
Okay, the work of a
Thank you
volunteer. Coming to school to, some of them work as, in fact, I've had more than two. I just remembered one grandma who also came, she was supporting in the preschool class, to help care for the children And, she will resume in the morning and close with us and all that. Our daughter had a child. She testified that it's from there that God answered her prayers, as she was praying for the other children, that, the child didn't have another child after a long time. It was from there. And then others, they come to support, maybe help to mark. The teacher will explain to them what to do, more like as class assistants. And then sometimes some come for programs to help to put things together. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you. This is so much. You're still here. Are you tired? Don't get tired. We have a lot of sections that we'll be holding after this. The TIP is a game changer. You can't miss out. If you're here, it means you share some of our values, and we're encouraging you to stay put. It has been a lot. We have so many other speakers that will be coming up after this section. We just had a collaborative section, how to become an educator as a parent. We are still going to be having another section after this. Who is parenting your child? Who exactly is parenting your child? Is it you or the nanny? You need to get involved. So we're encouraging you to come to the inner circle. We are in the inner circle. So let me throw a quick question to you. Who is actually parenting your child? Is it your teacher or is it your nanny? The inner circle is going to teach you how to get these things, be intentional about it, roll your sleeve and do the work. The result you desire is the effort you put in your children. Be involved. Get into the inner circle. Be intentional about it. We are running a promo discount within the next 24 hours for you to book a slot. The arc is almost filled up. If you are not in the arc, you'll be out of the arc. Get involved now, or leave the consequences of the results you see in your children. We are intentional about parenting, and that is why we are here. What has intentional parents? What has the TIP been for you? Can you just what it has been for you?
Intentional what can I say? More TIP inner circle has really, really helped my life. Speaking about what the last speaker just said, it was when I got to TIP, I learned about what is even called learning styles. There's a course we take in the academy that is called Understanding the Learning Styles of Your Child. That's even when I got to understand my own first. And then I knew my children's own. And do you know what that means? There's also a course we do in the academy, back to school. Oh my God. It was during back to school in 2022 that I got to understand how to be the gatekeeper. As in, when Madam Bankole was talking about aligning your family values with the school you are choosing, I withdrew my children because I found out that the schools we are in are not the same, does not have the same family values. In fact, one of my particular son, I had to homeschool him for 1 year before I found a school for him. I was also able to understand that one of my children is also a kinesthetic learner, like Madam Bankole said. Those children are very, very different, and they can't even cope in the normal road school learning. So where do you get all this information for? See me, before I came to Inner Circle, I don't know it. It is only in Inner Circle that you get this knowledge back to back. Wisdom notes on Mondays. We call it workers meeting, webinars on Thursdays. As in, back to back, daily voice notes. You cannot have it enough, and it keeps going better and better every year. I'll indulge our audience. Come into the Inner Circle. That's the best thing you can do for yourself. After this conference, everybody goes, but then the only thing that remains is a community where you can learn and improve on yourself. I got to Inner Circle and I found out that I have to represent myself well. Because of the kind of family I have, I have to represent myself. It is only in Inner Circle you will know who you are. You will understand yourself. You will represent yourself. and then you can do better with your children. Please make use of this discount. Booking your slot. If you are the only one, your spouse is not joining you, book in with 10,000. Like my empress, the microphone empress said, it's just 348 naira per day for self-development, for a long life learning to give your child a good legacy. We drink Coke. Coke is more than 348. Please lock in your slot. If it is a couple, lock in with 20,000 naira and get to spread your balance between now and November 30th. The Inner Circle 2026 starts on the 1st of December. And when it starts, closed. No more coming in. You have to wait till next year. You have to wait till next year. Kingsley, let's have our last words for them. I'm sure they are going to sign in. I will be seeing them in Inner Circle 2026. What do you have to say to us last, Kingsley?
Honestly speaking, I promise each and every one of you, your first year in the circle will be a moment of discovery. It's a moment of renting yourself. You're going to see your sins before yourself. It's a moment of confession, and then you will now begin the journey. So it's what is we're shouting, we are screaming about it, we are intentional about it. Imagine 40 renowned speakers being put together by our amiable VC to scream in the reason for parenting intentionally. It is because it is important. It is the foundation of our community. Guys, don't lose out on this information you are getting. So my final words for you is, let me see you in the ARC 2026. Let me just see you in the ARC. So we have a lot of things to do together to be intentional about raising the next generation, keeping legacies, and making influence in both our lives and that of our children. All right, these are my words for you. See you in the ARC. Thank you.
And thank you so very much to the TIP team. And thank you to my amiable, wonderful coach, Wendy Ologe, for giving us wings to fly. We are so much grateful for helping us on this community. Please, like I said, flood Nabia in Coach Ebuka's word, come to the Inner Circle. Take chance of this discount. If you don't, that's finished. We have more sessions. Please kindly go to your WhatsApp platform for the link to the next session, which shall be starting as soon as possible. I wish us all a wonderful Saturday full of learning today. It's back to back, back to back, back to back. Thank you so very much for having us. We shall have a testimonial here. And this is where we sign out. Kingsley, see you. Thank you for doing this with me.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
Are you looking for fun, screen-free ways to help your children and teenagers learn, grow, and build essential life skills? Welcome to Realit's Signature, Africa's premier destination for non-screen educational and creative resources. Since 2021, we've been transforming learning into a hands-on adventure. From exciting STEM robotic kits to jigsaw puzzles, 3D puzzles, building blocks, diamond blocks, painting by numbers, arts and crafts supplies, embroidery kits, pretend play, DIY science experiments. We have everything to spark curiosity and inspire creativity in young minds across the continent. Visit us today at any of our 2 physical locations: City Mall, Emmanuel Mbaka Boulevard, VON Junction, Lugbe, Abuja, or Redeemers Estate Plaza off Piakasa Road, Lugbe, Abuja, Nigeria. You can also reach us on 081 5459 5717 or 081 05 68 8809. Follow our colorful world on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Realit's Signature. Realit's Signature. Never stop having fun.
Common phrases in the inner circle. Let's go.
You're coming for an inner circle webinar and you're not with your yellow blanket with red trimmings. Is that even a joke?
Oh, I'm running and I'm not looking back because 10,000 lions are chasing me. I have watched all the webinars, but today, Coach came with a bazooka.
Even with my humility agbada, I still collected.
If you're not in the ark, you better enter now because flood na bia o.
In the inner circle, we dey walk and they show.
CIP police is coming for you. There is no need harness here.
You definitely cannot relate because you are not in the yard.
If you are not in the yard,
why not?